Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome into the transition part one, module one. I'm just so excited for everyone to be here. Being here comes with knowledge, comes with reflection, comes with explanation of things that you may have had a misinterpretation on, or misunderstanding on, or a conditioned belief around. So all that requires openness, to open your mind, open your heart, so that you can receive all of the knowledge and explanations and information that is meant for you to receive, for your spirit to consume and hold and move forward with. So, in that, reiterating to have an open heart, have an open mind, be open to receive, even if it's something that may be a little triggering or something that kind of seems foreign. Sometimes those things just are not meant to register because they're not meant for us, or it's just that you need more time to process it. And so sometimes we'll listen to something and be like, what the heck is that? I don't understand. I don't get it. But then like a week later, maybe some days later, you'd be like sitting doing something, you'd be like, oh, that's what it meant. Okay, now I get it. That's what I meant. But it is true that there are just some things that are just not meant for you to get, and that are just not meant to be a part of your life, and that is okay. So let's start off with 3 deep breaths at your own pace, just to clear the field, open our minds, open our bodies, bring attention to our breath, bring attention to our bodies, so that we can be present in this moment and heal, learn, grow, reflect, have fun. So 3 deep breaths at your own pace. I'm going to do it at my own pace. You can follow, or just do it in your own time. Pause the video. Whatever you need to do for yourself. Honor yourself. Okay. Deep breath in. I want to take the time to invite in my ancestors and spirit guides to assist us in this process. Invite in your ancestors and spirit guides, spiritual team, to come and assist you in your process. To help you receive all that is meant for you in this very moment. And so it is. Okay. Beautiful beings. Module 1. God loves you no matter what. No matter what. Literally no matter what. Anything that you thought that you've done that's unforgivable, anything that you thought that you've done that you don't want anyone to know about, anything that you thought that you've done that's just irreparable, unrepairable, like, no. Even with all that, the feeling that you feel about those things, God loves you no matter what. And the key to life, the key to peace and happiness and eternal peace, eternal happiness, having that in your life, solidified in your life, is knowing that God loves you no matter what. And there's God, source, energy, the universe, all in itself. Same thing. Whatever word that you prefer to use. Just sit with that. Like, let that land in your being, in your field, to just like, God loves me no matter what. No matter what I've done, no matter what I've said, no matter what I think, there's nothing that you can do to make God hate you or to make God take his love away from you. Nothing. It's always there. And it never leaves. Even in our hardest moments where we literally can't see it because we're in the depths of darkness, the depths of despair, the depths of our minds and our situation. God's still there. And God's still loving you. And God is still guiding you and positioning you in the way that is meant for your story to play out, your journey to play out. Allow you to fulfill all the duties that you came to earth to fulfill. Even the hard ones. So yeah, that's the key. You have to understand and know that God loves you no matter what. Now for me, that took me some time. That took me years because of the conditioning around not even the influence, but the conditioning around constantly being told when God would love me and when God wouldn't love me, when God would be there and when God wouldn't be there. It was all determined by the actions and steps that I took in life, or how good I was, or how obedient I was, how respectful I was. It was all in the limitations of human behavior. And God's love was used as a means to an end, as a way to get me, for them to get me to do what they wanted me to do. Because it was that important to me to know that God loved me, because it felt like my mom didn't love me, my other people in my family didn't love me. I felt that way at one point. And so to now know, okay, like, well, the eternal God that's supposed to be there for everyone, God that is love, God is that all that it is, doesn't love me. Like, who can love me at this point? Like, I'm damaged. There's no coming back from that. I used to feel that at one point, and what a way to feel. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel good, and it feels very, very, very limiting. So let's start. The conditioning around limitations of God's love. I can't speak for other religions because I've only been in the Pentecostal Christian religion. That's what I grew up on. That's what I was based in. That's how my family has been, since the family that I've known has been. The conditioning around limiting God's love is the ability to control people, the ability to get them to do what they want. Sometimes it's intentional manipulation, and in other moments it's innocent manipulation, where someone is just doing what they were taught. And then there's also other people who intentionally have bad will and want people to do what they want them to do. So they have used God's love to limit people and to control them. And so in that, it's coming into a new space of understanding that God's love has no limits. God's love is not selective. God's love is not a here and there, determined by a human type of thing. there can be no human that can come to you and tell you that God doesn't love you. And the simple fact that that was even created was out of control, was to get people to do what the other person wanted them to do, in a sign of respectfulness, obedience. Yes, man, like control, all in that aspect. The conditioning that you have had around God's love being taken away, God's love not being there, God doing all these things in the aspect of taking away his love, and the limitation of God's love not being there for you, it's time to let that narrative go. It's time to rewire the brain to understand that there is no limitation to God's love. There is no selectiveness to God's love. God's love is boundless. God's love is infinite. God's love is everything. And to put a human limitation on it is not. It's not true, and it's not accurate. And it's simply, if you believe in it, then you allow that to control. So the whole sins, these transgressions that are brought up in the Bible, that the things you can't do and stuff like that. I do believe that there is a moral code. There is general basis of things that you shouldn't do. But even in the general basis of the things you shouldn't do, that doesn't take away God's love. Like, God's still going to love you, but there's just going to be some repercussions. Like, karma's going to come in to play at that point, and you're going to be dealt the actions that you have put out into the world. But that doesn't take away God's love. So in the light of when they talk about sins, or whatever other religions that talk about, like, when you go against this rule that we have, then that is some type of act against God, or act against the moral code of what you should be doing, that God's love is taken away. No matter what you do, even if you were to murder a bunch of people and stuff like that, God's love is still there. You just suffer repercussions for the actions that you took. But that doesn't take away God's love. And simply the fact, it doesn't take away God's love, because there are lessons that we are here to learn, and there are actions that are taken on our parts to enact that journey. And there's going to be fumbles, there's going to be fails, there's going to be mistakes. And that is what the human experience is. So for God to take his love away every time there is a mistake, every time there is a trip and fall type of thing, it just doesn't make sense. I can't even try to explain it, because it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And so another thing of just like going beyond the bounds of knowing the unconditional love that God has for everyone, every human, every being that inhabits this earth and beyond. God's love is there no matter what. How freaking dope is that? How amazing is that? Like, how mind-boggling and mind-opening that is, to know that there is an unconditional love that you can access. You don't even have to access it. It's just naturally there for you, because you were created from God. So if you are in any moment where you feel that if you are in any moment that you feel like God is not there, God is not showing me what I want to know, being there for me in the exact way that I need, that I'm thinking that I need it to be there for me. Even in all those things, God's still there. The universe, source, still there, supporting you, cheering you on, giving you the lessons that you need to learn. It's still there. So just to solidify even more, even deeper, to land in your heart, in your soul, in your root. There is nothing on this earth that you can do to separate you from God's love. You always have access to the unconditional love that God has for you. And it's not even just about access. It's just literally about it being there. And to get out of the mindset of allowing another human being to tell you if God's love is there for you or not. Because that human being has no bearings on the capacity of what and how and when God is going to be in your life. They only have responsibility of how God is in their life. But even in that, God is still there no matter what. Even for the manipulative people who are intentionally doing things to control, God is still there for them, trying to help them revert them back, or just allowing them to do what they are doing in their journey because there's some things that they have to learn on their own. But detach, cut the cord away from thinking that someone else can determine God's love for you. No. And even if you do think that, just like, you just can't, because God's love is unconditional. God's love is always there, and God will always be there for you, even in the moments where you may not feel like it. But that is not ever determined by another human being. God is not ever going to tell another human being to tell you that it doesn't love you. Because your life in itself is a manifestation of God's unconditional love. So, know that, be that, receive that. God loves you unconditionally, infinitely. There's no bounds to the love that it gives, and it will always be there, no matter what.